Hey guys, I'm back. It's October. Who's ready for Halloween? Who's ready for some hot B&B action? Would you like to spend some time at a nice little B&B with me? So we got Barrel and Blade, our level 2 box for October. Just did the Knife of the Month unboxing and giveaway. At the last minute I decided what the hell we're doing it. I don't know if you're going to see this first or the Knife of the Month video first. If you haven't, just know that when you see the Knife of the Month video, there's going to be a giveaway involved. So there you go. So we've got our level 2... Oh, good, the tape's broken over here. We're going to have our level 2 box from Barrel and Blade. It's got a nice weight to it this month for October 2023. We're going to get into this box. And... dun-dun-dun-dun. Okay. Tactical... Oh, operational... Can we just pretend I didn't do that? Operation 76, Tactical Vehicle. This month we are excited to bring you some awesome products to help you survive and thrive in any scenario. Practicing good general preparedness is essential. Organize your gear for easy and quick access is critical. Oh god, I hope this doesn't have the stupid plastic seat back thing. So, yeah. All right. Barrel and Blade, we've got level 1, we've got level 2. Level 2 is the bigger, better, faster, more expensive box. Sometimes it has more items than level 1. Sometimes it just has fancier versions of the same thing that's in level 1. So, this time we have, let's see, Death Dealer Tactical, let's see, okay. 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 So this time we have one more item in level 2 than we have in level 1. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 items in the box, and there's only 3 items in level 1. So today we just have more. So let's see what we actually have. Oh, everything's all wrapped up in this thing. Wow. Okay. This looks like a box of bullets. That's pretty cool. And kind of funny, but that's what it looks like. Oh, I'm not thrilled. Okay, so should we just go by not thrilling to thrilling? Let's do that this time, instead of going by the card. Oh, all right, so the 5-gallon collapsible water bag by Urban Survival Gear, 5-star gear. So yeah, this is like one of the most basic camping items. I remember when I was... So you guys remember my friend Adam? We carved wood gnomes. We did, look, therapeutic wood carving. He taught me the carving, I taught him the painting, we shared our skills.
I have never painted anything before.
And I've never carved anything before, which is why mine looks like it has a penis on its head. So me and Adam, when we were this big, our families used to go camping. And not glamping, not straight up surviving in the woods either, but tents, campfire. Sometimes we had a little rubber raft for the lake, a little canoe. But I remember his family would go, my family would go. We'd go together. We grew up together in New York City, in Queens, and so our families would go to this place in Litchfield, Connecticut, to Bantam Lake, and we'd camp. And I remember we each had like 3 of these 5-gallon water things, and we'd refill them from some water supply they had, which I'm sure today is not at all healthy. But so these things, so my point is, these things have been around forever, and they are quite simply just vinyl, clear plastic, and you fill them up, and they form a cube. I'm just trying to get it to open up so we can see the cube. I feel like they were flimsier back then too. I feel like they weren't like frosted. They were just clear. Right? I don't know. I could maybe not be remembering correctly. But it's like instead of a 5-gallon water can, you had this 5-gallon water thing. And I remember thinking my dad was Superman for being able to carry it from the little spigot filling post thing. And then... yeah, hang on. Close it up, and then it's got its own little spigot here that you turn, and water comes out. It's all gravity fed, so put this on like a stump or something, and if you can tilt it downwards on an angle this way, it helps. And like when it's real full, the water comes out real fast. And when it's half full, the water comes out a bit slower. But not exciting and not thrilling. But for real, if you've got a storm coming, if there's a reason to think you need to stockpile water, these things are pretty damn good. And like you saw, they can collapse up and fold up and be very small. You can keep a whole bunch of them in a small area, in a shed, under the stairs, in the garage, in the trunk of your car, which I guess you're doing tactical vehicle, and then fill them up when you need them. And then you got the two handles, so you can, because remember it does, like I said, when it's pointed, angled down, it goes better, so you can hold it. And, but they're, you know, as opposed to a 5-gallon can, which is its own size no matter what it does, these things do have some advantage. So while it's not exciting and not thrilling, this definitely, if you've survived a storm event or a hurricane, I must have not tightened it enough, because I know they definitely don't leak air like that either. Maybe they leak air but not water. I don't know, they didn't. Oh, I had it opened. I'm a moron. There we go. There, now nothing's coming out. If you've ever had to be through like a big storm event or something like that, and they've said fill your tub up with water, or, you know, save water in containers, these are great for stuff like that. So I've said this just recently, Barrel and Blade isn't always the most exciting box, but they've never sent me something completely unuseful. And you can purify water in these things, especially stuff that requires sunlight and UV to work. There are some of those water purification systems out there. This will work because it's clear. The UV sunlight can get in there to work with the chemicals. So, okay. It's meh because it's not exciting. Could damn well save your life, but I want exciting stuff. So let's move on to this, which I've always hated. This, I don't know, again, these 550 cord hand grenades. They call them hand. I shouldn't call it a hand grenade. They have ones that are actually in the shape of a hand grenade. What do they actually call this one? They call it a survival grenade. The thing is, once you take the stuff out, so you get 550 cord, right? Which is probably the most important part of this whole thing. They say there's 10 survival items in here. I have some of these things that I've had for years, maybe 10 years, still wrapped up like this, that I've never undid and never used. It's quite frankly, I don't know, Survival Frog makes a lot of stuff. So what do we have inside this? We have a scalpel blade, we have a ring knife, we have a ferro rod, swivels, weights. It's basically like a little fishing kit, tinfoil, cotton tinder, fishing hooks, fishing line, and floats. So a lot of fishing stuff, and then a little bit of fire making stuff. You know what? I guess I should show you what it's all about. I guess I should take it apart. I don't think there's any way to take it apart without ruining. This is the thing. I've never figured out how to take it apart without ruining the grenade-like, the little pouch-like quality of it, and cutting it open. And maybe that's just me. Take that out. Now can we take this out, or is it still completely entangled? It is completely entangled. Of course it is. So this is your ring saw, your ring knife right there. You've got a little knife blade. It's not sharp. You would need to work on it. But you have a little tiny saw. You could use that not so much to cut through wood, but you could cut into wood to make little wood shavings for fire starting. And then inside this little plastic box, you would have all the other survival gear. I'm sure most of you have seen this before, but there's always the chance we're dealing with someone who hasn't. So if you have, and this is a waste of your time, just use the slider bar and fast forward. And just for the 1 or 2 people who need to see this, you know, enjoy. This is your cotton tinder for fire starting purposes. It's just cotton. It's not waxed. It's not jellied or anything like that. We've got fishing line with 2 hooks. We've got some extra fishing line. The swivel. There's another swivel in there. 2 swivels. We've got a little tiny ferro rod. We've got our two weights, and we've got 2 floaters, and they are stuck on the little package of tinfoil, which you can use for whatever, fire starting or trying to harness the rays of the sun as a signaling device or a little solar cooking device or whatever. I don't have a whole lot of respect for these, but there are a lot of people that do. So, like I said, the most important thing is now you've got a length of 550 cord, probably about 25 or 50 feet, depending on what this turns out to be. Put this all back in, and I will put this in. I have given entire, completed, assembled pieces of this, these kind of grenades, these survival grenades away. Oh, here's your scalpel blade, by the way, wrapped up, sterile, cool. So this is also a meh. Like I said, I'm sure there's useful stuff in it. I would never buy one of these on my own. I'd rather just assemble a little kit. So that's it. All right, that took up way too much time. So next we have the Death Dealer Tactical Convoy Molly Seatback for $65. Now, I don't know if I'd ever do a Molly Seatback. I feel like that's a little too tactical, but better this than that stupid rigid piece of plastic that both Barrel and Blade and BattleBox gave us once that you had to harness down and strap down. This looks like a chef's... somebody for a jokey present once got me a Molly chef's apron to wear. And I wore it barbecuing for every squadron event we ever had. It really does. I bet there's somebody out there that tries to wear this because they can't afford a plate carrier. So, what's the price on this? $65. So this would go on the side of the seat. So your driver's seat, your back would be against this, and then this would hang over the back of the seat, and then you could Velcro whatever you wanted on there. Put all your Molly attachments here. It comes with a couple pouches with these quick draw. So these are like quick draw nylon Molly attachment points. Nothing buttons down, but do you see how you could loop it back up to hold it in place? But then if you want to take it out, you undo them and you can just pull them through. You don't see these very often, but they're actually not bad because they do hold your gear in place, but they're not as sturdy as the rigid type ones with snaps and everything. But for removing them, oh, it's so much faster. If you don't have to like rigidly hold a lot of weight in place. So you got one pouch and then a smaller pouch. This might hold one M76 fragmentation grenade. I don't know. You got one smaller pouch, and then the whole thing is adjustable to cinch it down to your seat. I would probably never use this, but I know people that would use this, that I could trade, that I could sell this to them, I could trade it with them. So this wouldn't be all that useful to me, but it's, again, if you're talking about survival type stuff or gear, it's always trade bait value and stuff. I wouldn't want this hanging out. To me, seeing this in my car, like if you're in a road warrior type scenario, fine. But like just driving around with this in my car, this is like, hey, look in my car and see stuff for you to break in and steal. I don't know. I'll move that over there. The quality looks good though. Evaluating the nylon feels nice. The stitching feels good. It looks like it's a well-built piece. 1000D polyester, 10 rows by 9 columns of PALS webbing. Yeah, all right. Just not something I would buy. And then the last item is the Remington Escape 2 Black Sheep's Foot. Now, if you're a shooter and you've bought ammo, this looks, if you just saw this sitting on a shelf, you'd think this was a box of ammunition. So, Remington Rescue Knives. I don't think I have a Remington Rescue Knife. They say this is worth $160. So, I'm really curious to see what this thing is all about. Does it say anything else? It doesn't really say anything else. I'm going to have to look some stuff up. Warranty information, Remington Cutlery Division. Got some information about sharpening your knife, do's and don'ts. We've got a registration certificate, so you can mail it in and register it. Oh, it glows in the dark? Nice. Okay. Molly compatible sheath. Construction on it looks really nice. Looks pretty solid. That's a big ass knife. Okay. Weatherized on the inside. Cool. So it feels like they took glow in the dark, no slip tape to put on the handle. Is it really glow in the dark? Let me see before I just say that. I believe it is. Let me put it up against this light. It is. It is glow in the dark. We have glow in the dark anti-slip texture on the sides. This is plastic, not G10 for the scales. You got a black glass breaker, temple smasher, big one piece built in as a back spacer. This thing's got some heft. I gotta say, you won't have any problem smashing temples or breaking windows with that. So, now is this a separate blade over here, or what is going on? Looks like it has a lock. That was terrible. Let's see. Well, we need to work on that action. Does this keep it from closing? What is this thing? No. Wait, is that... Hold on. Oh! Yeah! Look at that. Okay. Mine looks used. Mine looks very used. I don't know. So we've got... The blade needs some oiling, honestly, but on the other hand, there's no play in it, so that's good. We like that. That's a great shape for a rescue knife. I did a whole video once on what is a good rescue knife and what is not. And this is a great shape for a rescue knife, and I'll explain why. Number one, your sheep's foot blade. Any blade that says it's a rescue knife but comes to a point is a terrible rescue knife, because the whole point of a rescue knife is to be able to let you get up under either clothes or a seatbelt and not stab, I want to say that, not stab your victim, not stab your casualty, your patient. And that's what this does. That's what this blade shape is great for on a rescue knife. You're not supposed to be able to accidentally stab them or poke them. And this is fantastic for that. You've got a nice fine edge for cutting things that might be easy, like clothes, like a single strap, but then they give you a small serrated section for cutting things that you might need to cut a little bit more vigorously, like ropes or lines or things like that. This is a great rescue blade. I don't know what it's made of. It's made in Italy. Interesting. Made in Italy of 440C. 440C, I've said this 100 times, and I'll say it 100 times more. 440C properly heat treated is very respectable for a multi-use, for a tool type blade. Nothing wrong with 440C. And for a knife like this, that is not going to be your EDC, that you need to hold an edge and be very sharp to use when it's called for, resist moisture as you're carrying it around, and then maybe even use 3 or 4 times before you're able to put maintenance on it, but hold that edge, and then when you have time, perform your maintenance. 440C is a great steel for this. It is very comfortable in my hand, I gotta tell you. So if I was back in EMS or even military-wise, you know, like if we had a Humvee rollover or an MRAP we had to cut some guys out of, if I had to hold this in my hand for a while and work, this would be pretty good. But however, we also have a button-activated line cutter. Oh, and it's sharpened all the way through. And once again, so, you know, that's really cool to have. When I see hooks, I automatically think of, I'm sorry, my mind goes to it, I think of cutting risers on a parachute. If you get tangled in risers. And this one would be especially great for that, because unlike just a regular hook, it has this long cutting surface. This would be perfect for cutting your risers if you're stuck in a tree or something. Oh, this knife is great. Now I would prefer not plastic, but at the same time, these plastic scales on this big beefy beast probably saves you a lot of weight because it's already a little bit heavy. And then it's got a lock, so you can't accidentally press the button to close this. Does it prevent accidental And it prevents accidental firing of it too. You know what? This talks about, this knife speaks to one of my 3 values of subscription boxes. The discovering gear you probably would not have discovered otherwise. The chances of me wandering into this Remington rescue knife without it coming in a box are slim to none. I'm going to have to do a whole follow-up video on this knife. But having it in my hand, seeing it, even if I just saw a picture of it in a catalog, I might have looked at it and gone, looks a little cheesy. But having the opportunity to put it in my hand, and it does need to be oiled and broken in a little bit, it does. But at the same time, a rescue knife, which you're probably going to operate with gloves on, it's not always snappy sharp, but we'll see what we can do. Getting my hands on it and touching it, now I really want to use it. Now this is a knife I want to carry in an emergency situation. And if you were to put this in your car, this has a lot of great tools for you to use to free yourself, free others, and escape from the vehicle. And it's made in Italy, not China. Italy knows how to make a knife. I wonder who actually put it together. And it's a true rescue knife. It's not a knife that they just put the rescue name on. Features that you don't see in a lot of other rescue knives, like putting the cutting edge all the way down the body of your line cutter. Awesome. Like giving you the actual sheep's foot blade for not injuring your casualties or your accident victims or whatever, but giving you the dual grind of your small serrated area, a rounded serrated area, and a nice flat fine edge for other cutting things. So yeah, we're gonna test this all out in a follow-up video because I think it's worth it. I think it's worth taking the time. But overall, right now, this gets not only a like it, but a very happy to have it in my hand for testing. So there we go. That's cool. $160. I don't know. I'm gonna check because even the Tops, Tops/Buck rescue knife, which was a very quality piece of gear, didn't retail for that. MSRP was one thing, but retailing was less, so we'll see. But I love it. This anti-slip texture is not only glow in the dark, but it really holds your hand well. So cool. I love this knife. This should have been the knife of the month, but I'm glad it came in the box. That's really cool. And the one thing, I understand why it comes in a pouch and doesn't have any clip or whatever. I guess I was gonna say I wish I had a clip for your pocket, but this is not a pocket carry knife. This is an actual tool. So there we go. All right, guys, that is our box. That is Barrel and Blade for October. You know what? And I'm glad we did it in the order we did because this is something I'm definitely not going to use, but will get value out of having it. This is something I'm not going to use unless I really need it. But again, when I do use it, it's going to have value attached to it because it is very useful. This is absolutely something I'm not going to use. I know for a fact I'm not going to use it, but probably will use the 550 cord for other videos, and I can put this away in, just in random survival stuff, whatever. And I have given these complete things away, like I said, to viewers multiple times, and they really liked them. But the real star of this unboxing right here is this rescue tool. I'm very happy, and I promise we're going to do a whole follow-up blade testing. We'll take it outside. We'll see if I can get a little piece of glass to break with it. See what I can do. So what are your thoughts? Ladies, gents, llamas, what do you think of this box and every item in it? Do you have a favorite? Do you have a not favorite? Love the coating on this too. Nice matte finish coating. So it's like at a rescue scene. If you're at a rescue scene at night, there are 101 lights shining everywhere, and not having a shiny, DLC black coating that's going to reflect the light everywhere. That's awesome. Anyway, so yeah, tell me your thoughts, guys. What do you think? Cool box, bad box? What item do you like the most? What item do you hate? And did I earn a subscription out of anybody for this video? So, hope you enjoyed spending time together on this one. If you have already seen the video for the Knife of the Month, make sure you go enter the giveaway. If you haven't, because it hasn't come out yet, I hope you will enter the giveaway when it comes out. But anyway, remember that you guys are all absolutely awesome, and I appreciate every single one of you, and I'll be back again real soon.